Hello everybody, welcome to IA Command. This is TVboy and we have another game log review for you all. This is going to be the top 4 match, and this is going to be the match from the the top 4 of the IACP competitive league that started back in September. We did 5 weeks of Swiss 18 players, and then we did a cut to top 8 from there, and I was in the top 8 and I won my game against Blade and I made it to the top 4, and now I have to play against Morgan. And Morgan is playing a Vader list. Pretty cool to see Vader making it to the top 4. Again, not because it's unexpected, just because I like Vader. So don't read into that I'm saying Vader's bad in ICP. He's actually one of the figures we have to balance around constantly and try not to break because he is so powerful. So Vader, very strong, and he is playing him with Taron Malicos as his extra force user, bringing him with Temporary Alliance. He's also got Agent Callus, Emperor Palpatine, 2 officers, and he's got Advanced Comm System on Callus, Zillow Technique, Ruled by Fear, and again, bringing Taron with Temporary Alliance, so that's 1 extra point. And he is playing against myself. You guys have seen this list if you've been watching my league game log reviews from my own games. I am playing double sabs. So this is a double sabs list with Kotun, Ferralo, Getting Argus, C3PO, R2D2, so Rebel Care Package, Mern, Rin, and then Targeting Computer on each of the sabs. And then I have Saw Gerrera in the list as well. And by the way, finally, so nice to see the updated cards in the new Vassal module. Now this game was played using the old one, so there's some blank cards here. Particularly Taron is blank on Morgan's hand, and then Saw is blank in my hand. But because I played this match, I'm able to move the card back into my hand. So, but you might notice that blank card there in Morgan. That's Taron Malicos. But there's Saw, you can see him there. I also have Heavy Fire, which is a big part of the list. And we are going to be playing on the Priority Message mission. And I have Initiative. Now, before we get into that, though, I do want to say a big thank you to my Patreon supporters and those who support the channel through other means. And if you are grateful to be able to enjoy fresh Imperial Assault content in the year of 2022 and beyond, please consider supporting the channel over at patreon.com/IACommand and becoming a patron. Your money will go to supporting the channel as well as sponsoring these tournaments that we run and the leagues. All the prizes get sponsored through bankrolled by myself, and that money comes from Patreon supporters, honestly. So you are helping out to support Imperial Assault competitive play by supporting this channel. And if you want to support the channel for free, just hit that like button, leave a comment on the video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. That helps out the channel a lot. It gets the channel in front of more people and makes Imperial Assault that much more popular. Alright, well, let's get back into the game here. So we are, again, playing Priority Message. I actually like this mission quite a lot because I don't have to worry about objectives. Now, normally, one of my strong suits, I think, in my opinion, is that I play to the objectives and I'm always conscious of them. But with this mission, you can just kind of let it happen, and you know it's gonna be hitting the deployment zones round 3. Now, sometimes you have to try and kill them if your opponent just won't fight you. Then obviously you're gonna have to go after their droids, their courier droids, which is how this mission works. Is each player at the end of each round deploys a courier droid token. It's not a figure; it's a token, and then moves it 6 spaces. And each time you get one of your courier droids into your opponent's deployment zone, you score 6 VPs. So starting round 1, you start putting them down one at a time, 1 each round, and then by the round 3, you should have your courier droid and your first courier droid in your opponent's deployment zone, and then each round after that, you start scoring 6 VPs each round, and it just ends the game that way. So fun little mission. It's very combat oriented. All the positioning is based on line of sight and not so much on objectives. But I've talked enough about it. Let's get into the game here. So I have Initiative. I chose the blue deployment zone. I do feel like that one is the better one, although mostly against ranged lists. Now this is a melee focus list, and I will admit I might not have played this opening round too optimally. I think in hindsight, was just kind of not really thinking about it. I had other stuff on my mind. I think at that time, at the day of, was pretty happy to have made it to the top four, which is, not the best attitude to take if you want to win an event. You gotta get to the final and then win that one too. So, but yeah. Anyway, going into it here, we've got R2D2. So actually activating Gideon. So I've mentioned this before. If you are playing this map and you get to the blue deployment zone, you're actually 4 spaces away from the terminal, which means, well, actually, I guess 5 spaces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Which means if you have R2D2, you're going to have to use some kind of movement card to get him up to the terminal to be able to draw on round 1. And thankfully, I have Gideon in my list, so I move him 2 spaces, start my turn. Now we've got officers activating for Morgan. Gonna move Taron up to the column there. I just realized I don't have any water. Unfortunate. Oh, I see it over there. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna leave that in. Anyway, going back to the game. Okay, we've got officer activating. And by the way, this is being recorded on November 18th, but you guys are going to be seeing this closer to Thanksgiving. The reason for that is I'm going to be traveling coming up pretty soon here before Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, and don't know if I'm going to be able to record. So I'm going to record a bunch of game log reviews here ahead of time and then put them out so that you guys have some fun gameplay content to watch over the holidays. And I'm actually doing the same thing with the podcast too. I'm hoping to record a bunch of podcast episodes with maybe some guests or with Second Flock for sure. And that way you guys will have stuff to listen to while I am gone. Alright, so Officer Morgan, going to move up and control his terminal there. And now I'm activating R2 to get ahead and draw my card. Let's see what I have in my opening hand since we have that ability. Normally you can't see hidden cards in a game log review, but because I was the one playing, I am able to look at my hand. So let's see. I can barely see what those cards are. There we go. Okay, so we've got Lock On, Heavy Ordnance, Blitz, and Overwhelming Firepower. Overwhelming Impact, excuse me. So some very good attacking focus cards. All of them are augmenting my attacks. I did make some changes to the deck, not before this match, but for the top 8, where I added a lot more use while attacking command cards to buff or beef up my attacks. That way I don't have to worry about having to use Pierce to get damage through, and I can just be using my surges on Blast or Stun if I want to. And that has actually been working out really well for me. So, moving on. By the way, Gideon focused the yellow Saboteur there. And now we're going into 3PO activating. Going to focus the other yellow Sab on his way past. So yeah, we'll talk about my positioning here in a second. We've got the other officer, Officer Noah. We're getting cheeky. I notice he does that. He names one officer after himself and he names the other officer after his opponent. I don't know why. It's some kind of psychological warfare. But we do have Officer Noah moving Emperor Palpatine up 2 spaces and then going to move up to body block for him, although there's nothing really to body block. And again, Saboteurs, you can't really body block for them. Okay, so here's my first blunder. I think I just I hide my 2 yellow Sabs and I just kind of move Mern up into this area. And in hindsight, really no reason to ever do this when you're playing against a melee list. Like, you should just be hanging out in the back, especially with no objectives on this mission. I just was kind of kicking myself halfway through round 1 when I realized what I was doing to myself. But we'll see how it goes here. It's going to be an interesting match, I'll just tell you guys that. Alright, Agent Callus. Going to draw a card for both players and draws into Urgency for myself. And we see the blank card, so I think that's Taron's card being put down. Maybe Saw, I'm not sure. Okay, Code 2 I'm going to activate did give the blue a surge token, and now giving the yellow a surge token. Let's put her up here on the screen. She's a newer figure from season 6. Very popular. Very popular figure for Rebels. She does a lot. She's quite the toolbox in IACP. I wonder if I can toggle. See, this is what I should be doing. I should just toggle between the cards so you guys can see what the old version looks like compared to the new version. Although there's a lot of reading. But anyway, so yeah, here's where I'm like, oh no, what do I do? Why am I moving my ranged figures up towards the middle of the field where Vader can come in and just wreck me? Because that's what Vader's going to do, obviously. He's going to move, he's going to double move up to the fountain, the door by the terminal, completely invulnerable thanks to that locked door, and then the round's going to end, the door's going to open, and he's going to come in on end of round attack, and then do a bunch of stuff to me, and just all my figures are going to be right there. So I just kind of left Myrn out in the open, where she should not be. I think what I'm trying to do here is I wanted Myrn to be in position to use Dead Precise if I have a Saboteur attacking from here. So I wanted her to be within 3 spaces of that, but that puts her right in attack range for Vader when he comes up to that door and then does the end of round movement. So looks like I put her there. So I'm getting my range 3 bonus, but yeah, I don't like that positioning there. So Taron's going to come up here. I think this maybe is where I realized my horrible mistake. Going to stand on the fountain. So I just move Saw over. I want him to be in position where when Vader comes in, he's going to be in position to start attacking, but not be so close as to be attackable. I think what I ended up deciding was like, okay, I've already put stuff there for Vader to attack. Let's maybe just flood that room, flood that area with figures so he can't kill them all, and that way all of them will be able to strike back against Vader. So Palpatine activating for Morgan, going to tempt on 3PO, which I think ended up being very relevant later in the game, but we'll see about that. The blue Saboteur is activating. One's going to stand next to 3PO, the other one going to stand next to Saw. Again, I'm just putting everybody in position because I know Vader's going to come through that terminal door, so I just want everybody to be ready and blast him to Kingdom Come when he does. Now, I do have stun, and I've noticed that there's no unshakable in Morgan's list, so I'm hoping to be able to leverage stun in this matchup against Vader and against Taron. Although Taron and Vader both have the ability to reach out through the Force at infinite range and deal damage at range with their abilities. Force Choke for Vader and Boulder Barrage for Taron. And it looks like we have reached the end of the round. So Morgan has his perfect setup here. Vader and Palpatine knocking on my door that is about to open without my consent. And here comes the courier droids, so mine comes down. And even though they come down before the doors open, you should still be able to get them into the opponent's deployment zone by the end of round 3. So here's the doors opening. I do open the middle top door, and that's because I don't want Morgan to be able to hide behind that wall. I want to be able to flank his figures if they try to hide behind there and hit him from the left side. So Vader going to come up, going to attack R2. Terrible roll for R2, and Vader gets just enough to get the kill there, so bye-bye R2. The beginning of an interesting turn. Now this was interesting, so he did second chance, but he puts it on Taron Malicos. So which means he's pretty confident about his Vader living through this volley he's being exposed to. Looking at the chat here, yeah, not much going on. And Vader is going to start us off, so let's put him up on the screen there. And I'm actually going to put up, I should have put up his alternate form. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's under Driven by Hatred. There we go. So here is Driven by Hatred. And if you you can actually toggle it in Vassal. It'll show you what his card looks like when you account for Driven by Hatred, modifying his deployment card. So that's what we're dealing with here. So Vader about to come in and mess stuff up, and I am very scared he's going to kill Khotun because I really need Khotun in this matchup. So Vader playing Price of Glory, which is not good. He's going to get some tokens by taking a damage, and he is going after Khotun, unfortunately. I think she goes down in one hit here. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, Pierce 3, plus 2, so 9 damage to Khotun there. Which leaves her at 2 health remaining. And then he does a Force Choke. So that kills Khotun, so that's going to be a problem. And again, no, just terrible positioning from me there. Focus Khotun with power tokens. Otherwise can do a lot of damage to Vader and would have been really helpful there. Now I'm not up a creek yet. I still have Overwhelming Impact in my hand, and the card is specifically designed for figures like Vader to deal a ton of damage to them. Now I need to deal with Vader. I need to stun him as soon as possible because Palpatine's going to come up and use Emperor and have him attack Mern. So I start off by playing Intel Leak with my Saboteur. We see Lure the Dark Side, Take Initiative, Dark Energy, Dying Lunge, and Strat Shift. So Strat Shift is really important information. That tells me I need to dump my hand ASAP and just pour all of those damage modifier cards into Vader now. Lure the Dark Side is interesting, but I'm not terribly threatened by it now that Khotun is dead. Although having a Sab get stunned by another Sab is annoying. But I can also play around it. Take Initiative is going to be really annoying next round because I'm going to have Initiative next round. Dying Lunge I can also play around with Stun, and then he's got Dark Energy. So I decide I'm going to try and play around with the rest of these cards and take Initiative and take 0 damage. Callus activates, gets to give himself 2 damage power tokens. And I do take the Take Initiative. We'll see those cards come up later here, but now we're going to be attacking Vader. This is the Focus group. I do like to pour all of my eggs into one basket here with the Focus. And oh my, we gotta charge our computer here. Okay, and we're back. Sorry for all the interruptions, guys. But we are going to see Saboteur attacking Vader with Focus and a Surge token. And here we go. So that's a great roll for me and a terrible roll for Vader, so it's exactly what I'm looking for. Vader spends an Evade power token, but we have a very important card in our hand to deal with this, and the rerolls have been really good here. Vader also going to reroll. Same result, and I think this is where I play it. Yep, here we go. So we play Overwhelming Impact. So this card is perfectly designed for Vader's figures that rolling lots of defense dice. It also cancels out that power token that he used here. And so that's going to add 2 damage, 2 surges, and cancel out the evade since it's not on the dice. So I have 3 surges to work with, 4 with the dice. So that's fantastic. It means I get to do Pierce 4 and Stun Vader here. But more importantly is the damage, because I think I oversurged actually. No, actually I didn't oversurge because he's stopping one of the surges with his dice evade. So I'm going to be Pierce 4 and Stun, which is exactly what I wanted. So let's see, that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he can't even stop the Pierce 4 with Zillow because he only has one block. So Vader taking 8 from that single sab attack. And I decide to hold on to the rest of the cards because I figure I might need them to get through the blocks. This is actually a mistake, though, in hindsight. So talking about specifically heavy ordnance, this should have just gone into this attack here right now and done 1 extra damage. The reason I say that is because if the second sab attacks and is just like completely whiffing, like not even close to dealing damage, then that heavy ordnance, the +1 damage, is just going to hit the defense dice, and it's not actually going to do any damage to Vader, which is what we need. So that heavy ordnance should have gotten played here in hindsight. And I'm not going to heavy fire either. So now we've got another hidden focus saboteur attacking Vader, who rolls really good and I roll really badly here. But I rerolled pretty good, and I think Blitz is going to save me. And we did stun Vader, by the way. So let's see, do I play it here? So I have, oh, and I have positioning advantage too. So again, got really, really lucky that, you know, because he could have Zillowed here too. Which means that one of those positioning advantage or heavy ordnance cards, they would have gone into his blocks, which is not good. It's not what I want. But I got lucky with my rerolls. Blitz gonna add a surge, so I'm playing positioning advantage, heavy ordnance, which is effectively positioning advantage number 2, and Blitz to add a surge. And Morgan sees that what I'm doing, I'm basically emptying my hand as fast as I can, and he's gonna discard Strat Shift to add a block here with Zillow technique. He's also gonna exhaust Zillow, since now reducing the Pierce 4 to Pierce 2 is actually relevant, although it's still going to help me get a bunch of damage through here. So that's going to be 6, 7, 8 minus Pierce 2, so minus 4. So 4 more damage into Vader. And I think I use Heavy Fire here, right? Let's see. 13. Do I exhaust Heavy Fire? Nope, not yet. Risky, because if I lose 2 sabs that haven't activated yet, I won't get to use Heavy Fire this round. But I think I'm just trying to keep him from getting shot by Callus. Okay, Taron gonna activate here. Gonna use Dark Energy to deal 1 damage to the sab and pull it into range of being attacked. And this sab is not activated yet. Let's put Taron up so you guys can see what his card looks like while he's attacking. And I think he should have been focused. No, he couldn't have focused because he just played Dark Energy. So he started with 3 cards in hand. This is Taron's card being put into play. So yeah, he was still able to get the kill though, on that 1 damage. So that sab had 6 health, so yeah, he dies. So Morgan getting 3 VPs, but now it's my activation again. So now here's the issue. I want to kill Vader, but I need to stun Taron, otherwise he's going to be targeted by Emperor ability. I'm trying to stop Morgan from being able to use Palpatine's Emperor ability to get an attack off here. But I see Vader is at 3 health, and so I actually do have an option here with my single sab that hasn't activated, with the Surge token. Let's see, what do I have in my hand? So I remember I was like, I think I can get the kill here. Lock on and urgency. So I can't blast, but I can do 1, 2 with heavy fire and saw. And then how was I gonna get the 1 more? Can't remember. Oh, you know what? It's because saw is not once per round. It's just once per attack. I think that's what I was gonna do. So yeah, if we look at saw here, so saw is gonna be the key. And like I said in my last video with this list, saw was not super impactful for most of my Swiss games, but in this game and my previous game, he actually came up quite a bit. So let's see how it goes here. Blue Saboteur coming in, gonna make the attack range 4, so that's good to go. They have +4 accuracy on red and yellow. I'm gonna spend the Surge token, and it gets the triple block. I do have the reroll though from targeting computer, and I reroll the red, and I think my reasoning for that was there was a lot of chances for the yellow to fail me there and not get what I needed, because I need stun most of all, but I also need to pierce here because he has exhausted Zillow. So I got pretty lucky there getting the surge I needed. And we're doing 3 damage with Pierce 2 and Surge for stun. And I should throw the sabs up just so you guys can see those since he's attacking. So there's the Saboteur. And again, you can toggle. That's what the old ones look like. This is actually post nerf. So FFG had to nerf the Blast 2 to Blast 1. And we de-nerfed them in IACP, and they've been quite fun. Okay, so again, stun. Gonna use heavy fire. So dealing 1 damage to Taron and 1 to Vader, and then stun and weaken. And now gonna use Saw Gerrera's ability, the Wanton Destruction, to discard one of the cards of my hand. So discarding Lock On to deal 1 more damage to Vader and 1 to Taron. Now Vader died. I'm trying to remember why he's dead. Yeah, he's not dead yet. He's got 1 health left. Okay, Callus coming up. So Morgan really needs somebody to be in position to get this Emperor attack. Otherwise, that's 8 points wasted. Vader and Taron are both stunned currently. So it looks like actually Officer activated to move Callus forward. And now 3PO going to activate, going to focus up Saw. Now Callus activating, going to draw both of us a card. Let's see what card I got. Oh, it's not showing it to me. Oh, it must be a new card. So it looks like I drew into Reduce to Rubble there, which is incredibly lucky. But doesn't really matter because again I had Saw. The plan is to attack Taron again and then use Saw to get the last damage on Vader. But here we go. Here comes Callus. Gonna make an attack here. Put Callus's card up there. And actually the Reduced to Rubble is not super helpful here, as it can only be played by a heavy weapon. Ooh. And I don't have any heavy weapon attackers left that I haven't activated this round. So I need to use Saw, because Saw is trait agnostic. But he is attacking the Sab here, and importantly, another figure in position to attack. Unfortunately, I can't stun this guy. So I'm going to do 6 damage to that Sab, unfortunately leaving it in tempt range for Palpatine to kill. So now it's my activation, and it looks like I'm going to go with Myrn. I'm going to hide herself, I'm going to hide the Saboteur. Yeah, this is funny because Saw also does not require damage to be dealt for Wanton Destruction. I think it just says, yeah, it doesn't even need the attack to not miss. So, designed it well. So Myrn just has to attack Taron here, and then we'll be able to discard a command card to Wanton Destruction to be able to deal the final damage to finish off Vader, who is still stunned, so he won't be able to Dying Lunge. So everything is working out now according to plan. I feel like I've pulled up on the rudder, or whatever you call it, on the airplane, since we were in a nosedive after losing Kotun. I think she does no damage. Oh no, does 1 damage. Let's use a Zillow technique. Yeah, 1 damage. And now using Wanton Destruction to deal 1 damage to Vader. It doesn't actually deal 1 damage to to Taron because Saw is worded in such a way that you can't choose the defender. It has to be another figure. So I guess that was the way we balanced it out. So it's not quite as good as Heavy Fire. But yeah, able to get the kill there. And 13 victory points. And I think Morgan was maybe not expecting that to happen. Again, since, losing Khotun was so big there. But I happened to have all the command cards I needed to deal as much damage as I could to Vader. And now also Brutal Tactics coming into play here, going to weaken Taron Malicos as well. And now finally the Emperor activates, going to use Tempt to defeat that Saboteur that was on 1 health remaining. And now finally can use Emperor. And let's see, what has he got? Oh, he's using Lure of the Dark Side as well. I forgot about this. This was in his hand when we saw it with Intel Leak. So he's going to be able to have, I think, Saw attack. Yeah, so Saw is going to attack Mern here. Let me put this card up. Oh, that's not the correct version. It reverted back to the old version because, again, we're using the new module, and this was played with the old module. So let me see if I can find this. Force user. Should be in here. There we go. There we go. Lure of the Dark Side. So very powerful new card for Imperial Force users. I mean, it's pretty much, it's the old card but with a bunch of extra stuff added onto it. Although actually no, it's not, because you can choose anything within your line of sight to perform the attack, but the target has to be within 5 spaces, which in this case Mern is. So within 4 spaces, excuse me. So exactly. So I did not position my figures very well at all. But that's going to do a lot of damage with Saw. He's got Surge for +2. He's also got a built-in +1 Surge, so pretty good roll with him. We're doing 6, 8, -2 is 6 damage. And gets the accuracy too, even through the hidden. And now he does get to keep... Oh, and Morgan forgot to add the damage counter, but we're like, yeah, sure, of course. So it gets 1 more damage into Mern with the power token, but it does leave with Saw with a power token. One of the benefits of being lured to the dark side, although he does also have to take 2 strain. So I just take it as damage here because, or as cards here, because I know if I take damage and he goes down to 5 health, he is easily killable by a lot of Morgan's figures, so I don't want that to happen. In fact, he could even be killed by a Tempt plus Force Lightning from Palpatine. So I need him full health so he can try to survive at least 1 action from Morgan. Alright, so going with, let's see, still Emperor Palpatine. Now going to use the Emperor ability to give an attack to Callus. We'll throw a lower down there. So you can see Callus's attack profile here. 2 green and a blue, and he gets the kill, I believe. Mern has 9 health, so yep, gets the kill on Mern. And he's getting some victory points here. And moves Palpatine onto the terminal. So now I'm activating Gideon. Gonna move, let's see. Oh, so this was an interesting shot here. So I had the Saboteur move, and then I actually declare an attack here with Gideon, targeting Taron. Now this is an interesting shot because we are drawing line of sight from this corner to these corners, but we're counting spaces for accuracy, which whatever the closest spaces is. So we actually count spaces this way for accuracy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though it looks like a really long shot around that wall, it's actually a 4 space, range 4 shot. And yep, looks like I'm pointing that out to Morgan. Just want to make sure he knew about it. So I just need range 4, and unfortunately I don't get it. So all that fancy play for nothing. The dice kind of let me down there, but just important for you guys to know about that. Like you don't count accuracy from necessarily from the line of sight path you're drawing. You just count the shortest distance between the figures, and that's accuracy. Not, you can't count through walls or blocking terrain, but you do actually count through impassable, which is the dotted red lines. You count through those, even if you don't have line of sight that direction. So saw activating. I'm gonna go and contest this terminal and take a nice big focus shot with the power token from Lure of the Dark Side into Callus. We can see Saw here again. I'm going to become hidden with that Surge. And then +2, so 6 damage to Callus there. And that is the end of round 2. Morgan ahead, 17 to 13. But we took down Vader, so I feel like, it's doable here, right? The rest of these figures are not Vader. They do die, they do bleed. And so hopefully we can try and take this one back. We just have to defeat, Callus and Taron Malicos, and then get our butts lightninged by Palpatine. So all the doors opening now after the courier droids continue their movement. And I'm going to have initiative here going into round 3. And able to keep the initiative because, again, we took away that take initiative with our intel leak in round 2. So we've got, let's see, we've got one of each saboteur here to activate. I think we're going to try and take out Callus. Yep. Gonna go for Callus here. Reroll, and I get, again, amazing reroll. Love those targeting computers. They've been doing really good. Usually I'm the kind of player that rerolls and gets the same result, or usually worse, but I've been really happy with the rerolls lately. Thanks, Trevor, for fixing that. So let's see. That was perfect. That's going to mean we're going to get 4. We can either do 4 Pierce 4, which would be Pierce 2 with... no, it would be... Yeah, Pierce 2 with Zillow. So 4 damage going in, but he's got 11 health. Oh, but we do have heavy fire, I think. So let's see if I get the kill with that. He does have Zillow technique to discard, though. So I think that's I have to think about too, right? So let's see, 4 damage, Pierce 4. If he adds a block with Zillow, that's 2 blocks. Pierce, it would still be Pierce 2. I think he's dead to heavy fire here. Right? Okay, come on past me. Get this kill. What do I do here? Yeah, there we go. Gets the heavy fire kill. And there's the Dying Lunge, and I completely forgot about... I didn't forget about Dying Lunge. I just thought I was safe because Taron was stunned, and I wasn't... I forgot that Callus can play Dying Lunge. So here's Callus's card. You can see his bow rifle ability allows him to perform melee attacks instead of his normal attack. Before you declare your attack, you may treat your type as... Specifically lets you treat his attack type as a melee. And the way it's worded with Dying Lunge is that Dying Lunge lets you perform a melee attack. So Callus is like, well, I can do melee attacks. So he's like, I can use this card. I can attack with it. And so he can. The exception is Pummel, because Pummel says if you have the melee attack type, then you can go ahead and start performing attacks. But Callus doesn't have the melee attack type until he starts attacking. So interesting ruling situation there. Totally forgot he could do that. But yeah, he's going to be able to do a bow rifle strike here. So get rid of that. And going to attack Saw with a focused melee attack. And I lose Saw here, but I did take down Callus, and I do stop the Emperor from being able to do anything useful with his Emperor ability. So we trade VPs, and Morgan is still ahead by 2 VPs now. And I have my other, oh, I do have my other yellow sab hiding up in deployment zone. I think I was going to try and stun Palpatine here. Oh, he's actually at 24. He forgot to score for one of the sabs there. So I think 25. Okay, so looks like I forgo trying to stun Palpatine and just decide I am with Saw dead. I kind of have to change my plans here, right? Because I only have the blue sab left. Or no, I don't even have the blue sab left. They're both dead. So I have to start doing enough damage to take out Taron Malicos here before the end of the round. So attack, reroll, gets the +1, love it. So that's 3, Pierce 2. With Zillow, it's going to be just 2 damage. Looks like I'm playing a card here. Oh, he is playing a card to add +1 block. And then probably going to exhaust Zillow technique, so it takes 0 damage. But I do play Reduced to Rubble, which I will pull up for you guys here. Heavy weapon. Reason I have to pull it up is because, again, it got updated in the recent module update. So here we go. So that allows me to deal at least 1 more damage to Taron Malicos. And we start spreading out the Rubble tokens. Okay, and now planning being played. Not sure. Looks like this is for strain. Okay, well, Taron is activating, and he's using Boulder Brush. He's going to remove the stun. So there's Taron using Boulder Brush. He removed the stun, and then he did Boulder Brush. Oh, you know what's happening is Madness. So he took a strain for Madness and became focused. And it looks like he had to discard a few command cards there. Because it wasn't an officer and it wasn't Palpatine playing planning. So it does 2 damage to 3PO, which is going to put him into range of dying to tempt. So now I have to activate 3PO before Palpatine activates. So I focus Gideon and move out of sight. Officer Noah comes and moves Taron up 1 space, and that is going to allow him to attack that Saboteur hiding under that courier droid with Emperor Palpatine's ability. Unless I can kill him now. So I go ahead and move Gideon, and I move him into range. I'm not sure why I moved there. Because it was still, oh, I guess it was range 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's range 5 if I attacked him from behind that wall. So I move out so I can get the range 4 at least. Oh, and I'm playing Wild Attack here. A card that I usually play with Kotun, but I'm going to try and get the kill with the Wild Attack. Since Taron, I need to do 5 damage. And against Zillow technique, that's going to be tough even with focused Gideon. So Wild Attack, hoping for the blank. I get the triple. I have the accuracy. I have a perfect roll. And it's not a dodge. So I think I have it here. 1, 2, 3, 6. Yep, I'm going over the top of Zillow. And I get the kill on Taron. Going to 24 and also denying the Emperor attack for Palpatine onto that Sab. So I'm feeling pretty happy there. Turns out I can't move back because of the rubble token that was created by Boulder Barrage. So I just go back here. I think I'm trying to escape from a possible Force Lightning kill on Gideon, right? Because if I leave him out, then Palpatine will just Force Lightning and tempt Gideon to kill him. So Palpatine going to tempt to kill 3PO here, goes to 27. He's still ahead on VPs. I've just been wiping out my figures like crazy. I'm just trying to keep up. And he's going to Force Lightning on the Saboteur to deal 4 damage to it. So I think that's one of the things that Morgan's list is themed around, is like these ranged damage dealing actions that are on Palpatine, Taron, and Vader. So he has flexibility with this list. He can also go in and smash with melee attacks. He's also got Callus that can perform ranged attack and also draws some cards that he needs. So he's got a lot of flexibility in how he manipulates his damage, which I think makes this list really interesting. Because when you look at it on paper, it's like this. I don't understand what this list is trying to accomplish. I don't see the synergy, but when you see it playing and you see all these damage tokens just getting distributed on a whim, on however he wants, it makes a lot more sense to me now, looking at it in hindsight. But we've got an officer attacking a courier droid for 3 damage, so not going to be able to kill it because that's going to be the end of the round here. And I should hide Saw because he is dead. So going into the final round, there we go. So the courier droids are scoring. Morgan is getting 6 points, goes to 33. I also get 6 points, going to 31. And now it's about counting VPs. Right, so we have to stop Morgan from getting 7 VPs and find a way to gain 9 VPs, which is tough. That means, or we have to just get ahead on VPs and hope that we win with the courier droids. So, I mean, killing Palpatine would give us 8, but there's really no way to kill Palpatine here. We have to accept that we're going to lose yellow, so Morgan's going to go to 36. So we really need to get to 37, which is also really tough because even if we kill both officers, that's only 4. So it's going to be a tough one here. We have to kill the courier droid. That's pretty much it, right? We have to get above 33 and then kill that courier droid before it gets in. So, and actually we don't even have to kill it, right? We just have to not lose any more VPs, not lose more than 3 VPs, because then our courier droid will score and we'll go to 37. So there's our game plan. Kill his courier droid, don't let our courier droid die, and don't lose more than 1 saboteur here. Let's go. Let's see how we do it. Morgan gets the initiative here. He's drawn through his entire deck, which is cool for an Empire list to do. I have take initiative. He's got the negation though, so he's going to keep it. And we've got Palpatine activating. And we'll throw up Palpatine's card. So again, we're going to lose this Saboteur to Force Lightning. So he goes to 36, and he's going to run and hide. But it doesn't matter because it's the courier droid we're after now. He's going to use Emperor here to give an attack to Officer Noah, but that is going to be a dodge for the yellow sab. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to talk. This is important sequencing here, and I'm going to talk about it in a second. But we're going to go through it. So yellow saboteur activates, attacks the courier droid, which do roll black dice. They're not set blocks. So I've got 3 damage, pierce 2 here, and they have 6 health. And I'm thinking, okay, what's the likelihood of Gideon dealing 3 damage to a black die figure without a focus? And in my head, it's like, that's so low, right? It's so unlikely. Just based on so many games I've played with Gideon, where I just randomly attack a black die figure, it just 3 damage feels unlikely to me. So I have a choice here, right? Do I reroll? And we know that the red die has three faces that are better than what it's showing right now. One face that's worse, two that are the same. So in my head, I'm like 50% to get better and really lock up this win, right? Because there's nothing Morgan can do to me now. If I can lock up this win and deal 4 damage to this courier droid here, then I can very likely do 2 with Gideon. Although even that's not guaranteed, but higher chance. So it seems like a no-brainer to me here. We go for the reroll, and we get the butthole, as I secretly call it. That's what it is to me. And so I'm like, no, only doing 2 damage. And we can't use heavy fire because heavy fire specifically says you choose 2 figures. You can't choose objects, which is what the courier droids are. They're not figures, so I'm kind of left out in the cold there. And now I think Morgan sees what I'm trying to do and decides he's going to try and do it too. He gets an awesome roll with this officer. Deals 3 damage to my other courier droid. Gideon goes for the attack. Can he do it? 4 damage. It is technically possible. Blue and green. 2 damage on each side. Black die. 1 evade. It can happen. Oh, it can still happen. Oh, no. He needed the surge for the +2. And that means I'm not going to get the kill there. So here's what I want to talk about. And this is a big lesson I learned from this game. If you have a situation like this, where it doesn't matter which attacker you go with, and you need to deal a very specific amount of damage, attack with the reroll figure second. I don't know why I didn't do that. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I didn't even think about it like that, right? But like, if I attacked with Gideon first, he doesn't have a reroll. I would know exactly how much damage I need to deal to kill that courier droid. And then when the saboteur attacks, I can either be like, okay, I'm short, reroll and YOLO, or hey, I'm good. I know exactly how much damage I need to deal and just let it lie. But I didn't do that, and I lost the game as a result. So had we killed that courier droid, at the end of this round, Morgan would be at 36, and my courier droid would be going in to score me 6 points to put me at 37, although Officer is spending a tempt power token here, but I did get the triple block, so yeah, that wouldn't have worked for Morgan. So close. Would have gotten 37 to 36, but Morgan's courier droid lives and goes in to get him to 42 and goes on to the finals. And we're still waiting for that game to happen, so hopefully it'll be happening soon. But that was my game against Morgan for the League Top 4. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a fun game to play, even though I feel like my opening was not very good at all. But played out some fun lines there. I think that's probably my favorite thing in IAs. Even when you're losing, you look at all the lines, figure out how can I still win this, and there's usually a line you can find that, although unlikely, if you get it, you could win and you could pull out a victory. And I think those are the most fun parts of Imperial Assault for me. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.